And that's, in my opinion, that's the attitude and that's the mentality of a guy that when the going gets tough, he doesn't want to fight. And you can never change that.
I don't know, I'm just ready to fight now. It's just, let's get it on now. I want to entertain the people. I want to
fighter Dubois is certainly a much more dangerous fighter than he was. So he does have a chance to win the fight, but in saying that, I've backed against Usyk a couple of times, and specifically the Fury fights.
Tony Bellew goes off on Daniel Dubois for calling out Joseph Parker, and rightly so. Dubois has a history of folding when pressure hits, while Parker has built his career on grit and composure. Daniel might say he's grown, but against Parker, excuses won't save him.
He'd had enough. And he quit. So it is what it is. You can make as much of that or as little of it as you want. I think Daniel Dubois is now coming to a different stage in his career, where he's understanding now of what needs to be done and what's at stake.
And speaking of Parker's momentum, Bellew himself lays it out crystal clear. Bellew couldn't have put it better. Parker's streak is nothing short of phenomenal. Taking down Zhang and Wilder back-to-back shows he's operating at an elite level. Dubois, by contrast, has yet to prove himself on that stage. Momentum is with Parker, and that's a dangerous advantage.
Gervonta Davis doesn't fancy going out weight. It's him versus Turkey, isn't it? They've been going back and forth as well.
Yeah, I've seen some of the comments he makes, but he has to understand that Turkey Al-Sheikh is the best thing that's happened to boxing.
In boxing fans are great.
In some years, since Harold Smith, no one has challenged the hierarchy of boxing. The hierarchy of boxing has always been Don King, Bob Arum. Now, in this country, it's Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren.
Johnny Nelson nails it here. Parker's size is going to be crucial. Coming in heavier gives him the tools to neutralize Dubois' rough tactics. The key difference: Parker has the ring IQ to use that weight smartly, while Dubois relies too much on brute strength.
Joseph Parker will come in at a career heaviest, and Joseph Parker is technically the better fighter out of the two, the better boxer out of the two. The better fighter is Daniel Dubois. So Joseph Parker's got to be smart enough, use that extra weight he's put on to try and absorb, hold the wrestle if the wrestle comes on when Daniel comes in and tries to rough him up, and he's got to be able to hold.
And Nelson doesn't stop there. He explains exactly how Parker can outbox and outthink Dubois on fight night. Johnny Nelson lays it out perfectly. Joseph Parker's game is brains over brawn. He'll step around, pick his shots, and dictate space. Daniel Dubois might come forward full of belief, but belief doesn't win against skill. Parker's experience and ring IQ will expose those reckless charges every single time.
I think Joseph Parker's going to go in there, try and box him smart, step around the ring, use that weight to try and hold his own, and Daniel Dubois will try and walk through him. He's a young man that really and truly believes in himself now, and his last few wins have actually cemented that, to say, you know what, I'm not a quitter. You know what, I've got a bit more fighting left in me. You know, all these question marks that were put above his head.
Joseph Parker at his sharpest, calm, focused, and ruthless, with intent. He respects Daniel Dubois' preparation, but make no mistake, the Kiwi is coming to rip that belt away. Parker's hunger shines through here, and that edge of quiet confidence speaks louder than Dubois' bravado.
Daniel, all you know that you're going to get a well-prepared fighter who's the champion of the world, who wants to remain champion of the world. But my goal is to take that away from him and be champion myself.
Andy Lee nails the key point here: experience. Joseph Parker has already stood across the ring from men far bigger than Daniel Dubois, far faster, and far more dangerous. He's tasted the power of Zhilei Zhang, he's felt the speed of Deontay Wilder, and he's survived tactical battles with southpaws. That catalog of challenges has built Parker into a complete heavyweight. By comparison, Daniel Dubois simply hasn't shared the ring with that caliber often enough. Yes, Dubois has youth and belief on his side, but he's walking into a fight where every advantage he thinks he has, Parker has already dealt with, and usually against opponents who did it better. That's the edge you cannot teach. That's the edge Parker owns.
The physique of Dubois, he's not bigger than Zhang. He's not as fast as Wilder. So Joe's faced all these things that Dubois has, but not to the same extent. You know what I mean? That's the...
Eddie Hearn captures the moment beautifully. Timing in boxing is everything, and Joseph Parker looks like a man who's hit his stride. Physically, he's sharper than ever. Mentally, he's calm and focused. Spiritually, he's enjoying the grind, which is rare at this level. You can see the confidence oozing through his preparation. This is not just about skill, it's about aura, about believing you are the man. Daniel Dubois may be strong, but Parker's balance of mindset and momentum feels unshakable right now. Hearn's right, you don't often get the perfect window in heavyweight boxing. For Parker, this could be the golden chance to cement himself as a two-time world champion. Dubois, he'll need to bring more than power. He'll need to break a man who doesn't look breakable anymore.
Everything in life. And Joe Parker, this is the right time for him. It doesn't mean he's going to win. But I'll tell you what, he'll never get a better chance because mentally, physically, I think even spiritually, like you can see how happy he is in his preparation and in life at the moment, that this just might be the right time for him to become a two-time world heavyweight champion.
Dave Coldwell then brings his perspective, and he refuses to buy into the Parker as underdog narrative. Dave Coldwell speaks with the voice of reason here. Too many people keep trying to paint Joseph Parker as the underdog, but that's simply not the reality. Look at the assets Parker brings: composure, experience, durability, and technical skill. He's versatile in the ring, he can adapt mid-fight, and he knows how to drag opponents into uncomfortable territory. Daniel Dubois is still relatively one-dimensional, strong jab, heavy right hand, but when forced off plan, he has shown cracks. Coldwell is right to dismiss the underdog label. If Parker wins, and many analysts see clear paths for him to do so, it won't be a shock at all. It'll be confirmation of what we already know. Parker is one of the most dangerous, well-rounded heavyweights in the game today.
Parker Dubois. I fancy Parker. He's not an underdog in this fight. Everyone makes out as though he's a massive underdog. I'm not saying Dubois can't beat him or isn't going to beat him, but I'm saying what I can see so many ways how so many assets that Parker has that can cause Dubois a lot of problems. And if Parker wins, I'm not going to be shocked.
Daniel Dubois talks about outboxing Joseph Parker and having the better tools, but words are cheap. The truth is, Parker has consistently outboxed higher caliber fighters than Dubois has ever faced. The claim that Dubois has better tools doesn't stack up against reality. Yes, he has raw power, but Parker has seen and neutralized power punchers before. He's dealt with technical boxers too, and he's proven he can survive when things get rough. Dubois still has to prove he won't fold under elite level pressure, and Parker is exactly the opponent to test that. What Dubois calls a clinical performance, Parker calls a normal night's work. Unless Daniel has developed new layers to his game that we haven't seen, his words will crumble against Parker's skill, timing, and composure.
None of that. It's just straight up performance, clinical performance I got to do. I feel like I can outbox him. I got better tools than him. Just need to prove right.
Roy Jones Jr. doesn't hand out praise lightly, and calling Joseph Parker the best guy right now speaks volumes. Parker's quickness, his slick combinations, and his chemistry with Andy Lee have transformed him from a solid heavyweight into one of the division's most complete operators. The key here is comfort. Parker looks like a man in his prime, enjoying his boxing and fighting with freedom. That's when fighters are at their most dangerous. On the other side, Daniel Dubois talks about tools and performances, but he has yet to show the adaptability needed at this level. Against Zhang, Parker absorbed serious punishment and still found a way. Against Wilder, he neutralized one of the hardest punchers in history. That adaptability, that toughness is what Dubois has yet to prove. Parker isn't just dangerous right now, he's peaking, and when fighters peak with confidence, they become near unstoppable. Dubois might find out the hard way that talk of better tools doesn't survive against a man with proven greatness.
Best guy right now is Joseph Parker. Why? Because he's not a big heavyweight. He's quick, he throws combinations, he has a great trainer with him now in Andy Lee, and he's more comfortable than I've ever seen him in his whole career. And so I think that is actually a very good fight for both fighters. And
Johnny Nelson's perspective always carries weight, and when he breaks down Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker, the gap in levels becomes clearer. Nelson often points out that Dubois has power and physicality, but that only gets you so far at elite heavyweight level. Parker's blend of experience, composure, and technical ability makes him a nightmare opponent. Dubois has struggled when put under fire. Remember, Joe Joyce exposed his limitations brutally. Parker, by contrast, has walked through the fire against much bigger names and come out stronger. Nelson recognizes that Parker's tactical nous, his ability to slip shots, manage distance, and pick counters, is something Dubois hasn't truly experienced yet. Parker knows when to press, when to survive, and when to explode, while Dubois often looks one-paced. That's a gulf in ring IQ. Nelson's words remind fans that for all the hype around Dubois' power, this fight is far more about Parker's skills, maturity, and big fight pedigree. That's where the contest tilts heavily.
The fight deserves it because it was Daniel Dubois that pulled out of the fight, not Joseph Parker. And it was Daniel Dubois that put himself out of line for it. So why would Daniel Dubois be awarded a direct crack of Usyk when he pulled out the fight? So the right person to get the crack should be Joseph Parker. Why not? He was the one that turned up to fight, he fought, got the job done. Daniel Dubois, you know, as long as he wins his next fight, the fight against Usyk, and as long as Usyk wins against Parker, which I expect him to, that fight will always happen. So I can understand it.
When Lennox Lewis speaks, the heavyweight world listens. His breakdown of Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker is balanced, but the underlying message is clear. Parker has all the ability needed to win. It's just about delivering on the night. Lewis acknowledges Dubois as the belt holder, but belts don't tell the whole story. Many fighters have carried straps without truly being the best in the division. Parker has fought the tougher schedule, beaten bigger names, and proven himself under pressure. Dubois, for all his youth and power, still has question marks over his mentality when things get rough. Lennox frames it perfectly. Parker must come good on fight night, but if he does, the skill gap becomes obvious. Parker's sharper combinations, greater adaptability, and calm under fire make him the more complete fighter. Dubois is still learning, still developing, but Parker is ready right now, and that difference could decide everything when the first bell rings.
I want to see that fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
Parker Dubois?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight.
Who you got?
Who do I got? The best man. But right now, Daniel Dubois is the top man right now. He's the man that's holding the belt. So Parker has to come good. And Parker has the ability to win as well.
At the end of the day, this fight is about legacy and pressure. For Joseph Parker, victory means becoming a two-time world heavyweight champion, silencing doubters, and cementing his place among the division's elite. He's in the form of his life, mentally sharp, physically primed, and brimming with confidence. For Daniel Dubois, this is the ultimate acid test. Can he finally prove he belongs at the very top, or will the cracks resurface under Parker's relentless composure? The question isn't just who hits harder, but who's mentally stronger, who has the experience to adapt when the fight gets messy, and who truly wants it more. Parker has walked this road before. Dubois is still trying to find his way. So what do you think? Are you backing Parker's proven pedigree, or do you believe Dubois shocks the world? Drop your predictions in the comments below.